Hey everybody, John here, and this is the Blue Water Outlook Weekly Weather Briefing, first day of August. I'm going to be talking a lot about a heat dome over the central and southwest U.S. that's going to be influencing many parts of the nation, most of the nation's weather. Let's get started. Well, first of all, this is where we have our heat advisories or watches or warnings, mainly over the western U.S. And if we look at the weekly impacts here, what you can see here is a lot of the impacts as far as heat are in the south central U.S. and the western U.S., extending into the plains and Midwest as well. Now, I want to bring to your attention this area right here. This is indicated the possible rapid onset of drought. So we're going to be talking more about drought as well. Matter of fact, one of the posts I have this week, I need to do a drought update with the drought outlook. Now, the Pacific Northwest has a significant degree of wildfire risk and degraded air quality due to the smoke from those wildfires. You can see where we have the air quality concerns here. Some areas, some moderate air quality concerns, that's yellow, but overall nothing all that significant until you get into the Pacific Northwest and the Northwest U.S. That's where we have significant wildfires and air quality concerns. Now, as far as rain goes, last week we had some scattered thunderstorms, these tracks here in the Midwest. We had a little bit along the Florida west coast, but most of the rain was along the mid-Atlantic region. You might remember we had flash flood issues in parts of Washington, D.C., New York. We also had some flash flood concerns over Virginia and North Carolina. Now, temperatures were the warmest as far as temperature departures go in these areas of orange and red, and temperatures were cooler than normal over the northeast U.S. Anywhere you can get that green this time of year, cooler than normal, is very welcome. So the hottest temperatures right through the middle part of the nation, the plains, we had temperatures near or above the 100-degree mark. Areas in red here above 110, and down here in the southwest, above 115. So we are really hitting some hot weather. Now, if you're interested in rivers, most rivers are in the normal range, but we do have, where we had the heavy rain last week in the mid-Atlantic, we do have some higher flows and isolated higher flows in Texas due to some localized heavy rain. But more and more spots are getting low flows. These are all low flows. So look at this. Even though areas in North Carolina and Virginia that got the heavy rain are running high, many other areas that didn't get that heavy rain are running quite low. And the Pacific Northwest, where we have those wildfires, you can also see how low rivers are running. Now, this time of year, we start to look at the main grain transportation routes, although it's too early for that. But we do have lower flows on the Mississippi and on the Ohio. And you can see at Evansville in the Ohio getting close to low flow levels. So that could be a concern as we get further into August with some low flows and perhaps some reduction in barge activity. So here's the story right through mid-August, a big dome of high pressure over large parts of the west, southwest, south, plains, and then extending even into the Midwest. So that's going to be the story by the end of this loop right in here. Look at that. It covers large parts of the nation. So that's going to be hot and dry. So we have a little bit of a reprieve here the next 5 days over the Midwest, but then that heat expands. And other than maybe the northeast U.S., everywhere else is above normal to some degree. So I think hot temperatures are going to be the story going through August. Now, what about rainfall? Well, here we go. It looks pretty quiet overall. Some pockets of heavy rain, a bit of a monsoonal flow here, and some pockets of heavy rain here and there. And we could get, again, on sort of that ring of fire on the backside of that high pressure. You can see that here. The jet stream sort of flows here, and then we get that flash flood threat in the eastern U.S., and that's something that we could be dealing with again, and we've had that a number of weeks where we've had these localized rain bombs, and it produces urban flooding and flash flooding. Okay, let's look a little bit further out, and what we have in the 8 to 14, almost the entire nation above normal temperatures, and overall pretty quiet with the exception of perhaps a monsoonal flow. So that's the story. It looks like it's going to be going into August. As far as active weather quieting down, as far as unusually hot weather expanding and intensifying. That's your briefing. Have a great week.